Yep, I did it again. So last weekend, me and Mitch went to our local library to renew our library cards, where we were told by the librarian, hey, make sure you check out our library book sale. And of course I told her, oh, I've been there and I got lots of books and it was really great. And she said, oh no, you need to go again, because not only are we having a huge sale on them, but she said we've been adding even more books to it as they've been donated. So I went, and sure enough, you were given as many shopping bags as you wanted, and you could stuff them full for $3. And as I was looking through the cookbooks, there had been more cookbooks added that I hadn't seen the last 2 times that I went. So we came out with at least 4 shopping bags full of books, which means that every single book we got only cost us 32 cents. So let me go ahead and show you a few of my favorite ones so far. Now, there's obviously too many here for me to go through individually in this episode, but I wanted to pull out just some of the ones that look the most interesting, but I will at least show you, like, all the covers and the names of the ones that I got. So let's go ahead and, okay, let's just start because they're just kind of all over the place. So first off, I thought this one was really interesting because, number one, it was originally $5. This is kind of one of those homemade cookbooks that was put together, you can see here, for the holiday market workers at the Henry Clay Estate. And so I thought that was really interesting. Probably something they put together, maybe as a fundraiser, that kind of thing. But it looked really fun. I liked the look of it, and I picked it up for 32 cents. Now this one I thought was really fun, biscuits and scones, and you can see it says author of muffins. I looked down the road just a little bit, and sure enough, I found muffins. So I went ahead and picked both of them up because they look really good. Can't wait to do something for tea time out of these. And of course I had to get this one, the New England Yankee Cookbook. So there should be lots of good things like clam chowders and lobsters and all kinds of good things in here. This is a Souvenir cookbook. Someone picked this up for $2.50 at a national monument. So this is one of those Souvenir cookbooks that we've looked at before, which meant that, of course, I had to pick this one up because I'd actually not bought one from this group before. Turns out they have tons of little cookbooks that they have sold throughout national and state parks, etc. And you can actually buy them on Etsy. And you can see here's all of their titles. And so if you look up one of their titles, or if you look this up right here on Etsy, it will pull up all their other cookbooks that you can purchase. We have top secret restaurant recipes, and I will admit I bought this because it's got a ton of recipes from Big Boys, which was a really popular restaurant back in the day. We used to go there and get their hamburger. Their hamburger recipe is in here, so that might be something that we go ahead and try to recreate. I also thought it was fun that there was a handwritten recipe for fudge on the back of Puppies for Sale. Now, Mitch found this one. It's Round the World Meat Cookbook, and we thought it was really interesting because it really is all kinds of ways that people in all different countries cook, all kinds of different meat. So we thought this would be kind of interesting to look through and see if we can find some new favorite recipes from around the world. We have Jan and Michael Stern's Road Food. Now, we grabbed this not looking at the inside, but what it really is no recipes it just tells you where the best places to eat in each state. So we were a little bit disappointed because usually books like this get outdated pretty quick as restaurants close and other ones open. So not sure about this one. If there's no recipes in it, I may just go ahead and donate this one or give it to someone who just wants to read it. We have A Taste from the Past, Good Old Food. And this one is exactly as its name implies, just old-fashioned recipes and how they used to be cooked. This looked really fun. It looked really well laid out. I like the pictures. I like the illustrations, and it looked pretty interesting. I like the fact that it had a little bit of history to each recipe, it looks like. So we will be testing that out and seeing if we like that. This one, Mitch wanted to try this one too because it just looks fun. It's just exactly what it says. Name brands that put out their best recipes with their products. So we might find some new favorite products or just things to do with some of the products that we already use. Mitch was also really excited for this one. He's a burger guy. He really enjoys a good, tasty, unusual burger. So we have all kinds of really cool looking hamburgers in here with lots of different ingredients. So we're excited to try that one. This one I've seen on Amazon several times. It's rated pretty high on Amazon. And so I thought this would be really good because, as we all know, usually, church suppers were some of the best eating you could do. So, we've got some pretty good recipes in here that I would love to try. Now, this one we got for fun, Desperation Dinners. We would love to put this on the channel and time it to see if it really is 20 minutes flat. So we might have some of these recipes in here, like maybe on a Monday episode, so that I can time myself and really see, are these desperation dinners and do they really just take 20 minutes or less? Or is it just a gimmick? I thought this looked really interesting. The 1,000 Recipe Chinese Cookbook. It has some really good looking things. I love Chinese food. I love Japanese food. I think both of them have really good and unique ways of cooking and really unique textures and tastes that they use with their food. And so this one looked really fun. I can't wait to try this. And here's one I'm really excited for because I did not know it existed until this library sale. It is Celestial Seasonings Cooking with Tea. Who knew that this was out there? It looks really fun, but now some of the recipes, I'm not gonna lie, it does look a little bit iffy. Like peppermint Thai dumplings, I don't know about that. Apricot ginger wonton dipping sauce, that actually might be pretty good. But we've got some things in here that are really, I don't know, some of the combinations could go really bad or really good. So we're gonna give this a try. I thought about doing this on a tea time episode, but I really want to just kind of do a deep dive into the actual taste of some of these dishes. Like chamomile polenta. I don't know, guys. It kind of sounds interesting and it kind of sounds like it could be a taste disaster. But we're going to give it a try because I've always loved Celestial Seasonings tea. Me and my family have drunk it for decades. And so, of course, going to want to try to cook with it. Now, this one's also really interesting. We have the Country Life Vegetarian Cookbook. And you can kind of see why I might have picked this up. You know how much I love a good commune cookbook, and of course that's what I thought this was, but it turns out that this was actually a restaurant started in Grand Rapids, Michigan by a Seventh-day Adventist church that wanted to promote vegetarianism in their community and really teach healthful eating and get people started with healthy recipes and that kind of thing. And they actually grew quite a bit to hundreds of restaurants throughout, the 20th and 21st century. And then they started, for some various reasons, but mostly competition, started closing their doors. And now there's only one open in the United States in Columbus, Georgia. Now, it's a little bit too far of a drive for us to get there. Otherwise, I would have definitely gone to check it out. But we at least have their recipes so we can give them a try for ourselves. And now this one looked like a real treasure. Of course, you can probably see from the look of it, it's from the 1970s. We have the Vermont Year-Round Cookbook. And this looks so fun. It's kind of a memoir in a way of living in Vermont, through the seasons, and it talks about the different seasons and what to expect in Vermont and what people eat in Vermont. And oh my gosh, this looks so good right here, but it looks really good. And you know how much I love a good 1970s photograph in a cookbook. I just love the colors and how natural everything is and how just crammed full of things to look at. And of course, the recipes looked really good, so I can't wait to get started on some of these. We also have another little gem from the 1970s. Better Home and Gardens, famous foods from famous places. And so this looks really fun. We've got lots of restaurants that I need to go through these and check to see which one are still operating and which ones are not, because I'm sure some of them have gone out of business by now, but we may still have some that are hanging on. But we have some of those great 1970s photographs, and we have some really famous recipes from each of those. And I love the fact that whoever had this before actually picked out their favorites throughout the cookbook and wrote in delicious. So we may actually have to start with those recipes first just to see, because we know at least one person really liked them. And here's another little fun gem from the 1970s. This is actually from Ford Motor Company. So this is Ford Time's favorite recipes, where to go to eat when you are on the road, preferably in a Ford. And I really like this one too, because you've got these neat little drawings and of course your beautiful spreads of food. But you have these neat little drawings for each restaurant that I thought was really interesting and a good idea. It really lends some more character to this cookbook. And let's see, I think we've actually talked about that one before in Detroit, Michigan. We may have to do some of those from Michigan and Tennessee. We'll see which ones are still open and operating. But the recipes looked really fun, and so did the illustrations. I only regret that we can't actually get to some of these because they did not have any listed in my area. Now here's a weird one. I actually thought that this was in the wrong section. I thought that it was an artwork or costuming book, but it really is a cookbook. And when I flipped to the inside, the recipes and the pictures looked really good. So I thought, why not? Let's give this a try and see what this really unusual cookbook is all about. It is apparently Canada's famous President's Choice products. I will have to definitely look that up and see what that's all about when we deep dive into this cookbook. Speaking of Canada, I also found this cute little souvenir cookbook from British Columbia. I thought this one looked really interesting. You have pictures of British Columbia. You also have really nice illustrations of the food, and the recipes looked really good. I would really like to try some of these and put these on the channel at some point as well. We have seasonal celebrations coast to coast. Again, this is another one that's talking about casual entertaining from popular inns across America. So like the Ford Times, we have a lot of recipes from places all across America, you know, presumably that you were road tripping past, so you could stay there and maybe pick up a souvenir to remember what you ate at that restaurant. And when I saw Betty Crocker, of course I had to pick this up. I'm not sure if I'll put this one on the channel. I actually got this because, you know, I just love Betty Crocker, and I really like, usually really like their layout and their recipes. They're pretty time-tested and true, and this one looked really good. So I may go ahead, ooh, I don't know, that looks pretty good, guys. Ooh, we might have to put that on a soup for supper come fall, because that looks really good, and so does that. Okay, we may actually have to put this on the channel and do a deep dive on this one too, because that looks really good. And who doesn't love a good cookie? We've got King Arthur flour, which I love their flour. I purchased that quite a bit. And this is nothing but cookies. That's it, just cookies. But it's gotta be good if it's from a flour company, because Pillsbury also has a cookie book, and it's really good. So we'll see, did King Arthur flour really bring in their A game, and can they beat Pillsbury? We will see on one of our episodes. And look at this. I know some of you that watched my last library haul will know that I picked up the I Hate to Cook sequel cookbook, and now we have the almanac. So I thought this would be really fun to just do a whole month's worth of recipes from the I Hate to Cook series, so we can see if some of her other cookbooks are worth picking up. We really like the first one on the channel, so hopefully we're going to like the almanac and the sequel. Now, I'm sure a lot of you know who this guy is. I grew up watching him on, I think it was PBS had him on there, and we really liked this guy. We watched him all the time. Me and Mom really liked, you know, how he cooked and his food and stuff like that. So I thought this would be a really good one to pick up, because I have one of his cookbooks, but I don't actually, like, I didn't have like the first one he put out. So we will actually do a deep dive on these and see if his cookbooks can stand the test of time. Now, I picked this one up for two reasons. Number one is from the 1950s, and number two, the title really got me. Quick dishes for the woman in a hurry. And so I thought this looked really fun. I love little pamphlets like this from the 50s. You can see we've got actual pictures, but we also have really cute little illustrations with each item. And it just looked so quintessentially 1950s. I really wanted to try it. Now, for me, this all does not look like it would be a fast meal to put together. You've got salad, fries. I mean, you have a lot going on this table. So we'll see if this cookbook is truly quick, and can you be in a hurry making them? Ooh, we also have a time limit, so we can actually see if they really are 30 minutes. Now, this one I picked up because it just looked interesting. I really like when brands put out cookbooks like this. Also, this was from the 1970s, so you know I just had to pick that up. But we've got all kinds of recipes. Grasshopper Grabs. That sounds kind of interesting. We may have to do that one first. But this looked really interesting. How many things can you do with gelatin? And so we will have this on the channel and see if this is any good. I also picked up the Westinghouse Cookbook. Some of you may recognize this brand. They did make appliances at one time. I'll have to see. They may be still in business, but I don't think so. I believe they actually got absorbed by a larger company, you know, kind of like Maytag or Whirlpool. But I really like cookbooks that kind of have a theme to them. So basically Westinghouse was like, hey, you know, pick up our stove because these are all the beautiful, wonderful, tasty things that you can make on it. So we will have to do a deep dive on this and see if the recipes are any good. And we got one more. This one really caught my eye. Fields of Greens vegetarian recipes from the Greens restaurant. And so I've never heard of this restaurant. I don't know if they're still in business because I kind of wanted to save the research and, you know, the information for the episode of when we do the deep dive on the cookbook itself. So we will look at all of that when we actually go to cook out of this cookbook. But it looked really interesting and I really wanted to try it. It's got some, you know, things that look pretty unusual. So we will go ahead and put that to the test. And besides cookbooks, I also picked up, you know, just some random books to read that caught my eye. This isn't all of them, but this is one of the ones that are the most interesting, I thought. We have another mystery, but look here, guys. A new queen of crime. Now, if you'll remember from the last library book haul, I picked up another author that was supposed to be the new queen of crime. So, I don't know. We may have another contender for taking that title away from Agatha Christie, but we will read this and see. And then for all the mystery fans out there that are also Jane Austen fans, did you know that someone wrote mysteries as if Jane Austen was a detective? So I thought these were really interesting. I got the first one and the fourth one, but they did not have 2 and 3 at the book sale. But if this one's any good, we'll go ahead and pick those 2 up, probably from the library. We'll see if they have them. But that just looked really interesting to me. I love Jane Austen. I love mysteries. So, you know, putting them together's got to be good, right? And that's it. That's all the ones that I got from what will be my last trip to the library book sale until next year, because they are officially closed, which may be a good thing because apparently I can't control myself. But one of the good things about going to a library book sale is if you happen to pick up a cookbook and you just don't like it, you have hardly any money wrapped up into it. Like all of these, I only have 32 cents wrapped up in each one. So, you know, if it's something that just doesn't fit our lifestyle or just didn't seem interesting to us, or, you know, we're probably just not going to use it again, and just donate it back to the library or give it to somebody I know that's going to love it and be able to fit it into their lifestyle. And don't worry, like I said, each one of these books are going to be featured on the channel, and we will be doing a deep dive into them to see if they're worth trying to find on eBay or at your local library book sale. Which means for our Friday episodes, I think for the rest of the summer, we're probably just gonna have to do library books until we get through all of them, because I've got so many and they're so interesting. I really just can't wait to try them and put them on the channel. So I think our entire summer theme is going to be library book sale cookbooks. So I really hope you enjoyed this episode and a little glimpse into what you may be able to find at your local library book sale for so cheap. And I hope you stick around to see what each one of these cookbooks is really going to be and how it's going to taste. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
And if you like historical cooking and unusual cookbooks, here's 2 more videos you might enjoy. And make sure to like and subscribe for more foodie adventures.